Hello, a warm welcome to NVTV News Tonight. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. Before we kickstart our bulletin tonight, we'll take a quick look at our headlines this night. In news around Uganda, NRM's Wanyoto asks university students to stop targeting civil service jobs. Jinja Regional Referral Hospital admits to negligence after baby loses limb during birth. Buikwe mother loses daughters to lightning. In the news around East Africa, Burundi's main opposition leader, Agathon Rwasa, confirms his party's bid for the 2020 general elections. In our special report tonight, New Vision TV shows you the road to Uganda-made vehicles. Welcome again to New Vision TV News Tonight. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. We start with news around Uganda and start from Kampala, where this week marks 50 years since the late King of Buganda, Edward Frederick Mutesa II, passed on. Mutesa would also be celebrating his 95th birthday today. Mutesa, the 35th King of Buganda Kingdom, is remembered to have been the first Ugandan president after colonial rule. To commemorate his life, Ssekabaka Mutesa's family, with support from Vision Group, Mandela Millers and the Kampala Sheraton Hotel, organized a memorial lecture to remember him and share his contributions to the country. The colorful ceremony took place at the Sheraton Hotel in Kampala, graced by President Yoweri Museveni. It was also attended by several dignitaries from the central government, religious leaders, academicians, and the Mengo establishment. In his keynote address under the theme Reflection in the Triple Heritage of an African King, Knight, and President, the Kabaka's Palace Chief Advisor, Apollo Makubuye, said Mutesa is one of Uganda's heroes who should be remembered. Makubuye said Mutesa worked for the unity of Uganda as one country. The National Resistance Movement, NRM chairperson Women's League, Lydia Wanyoto, has discouraged university students from targeting civil service jobs. Wanyoto said that the mentality has kept most fresh graduates miserable, praying for the current civil servants to retire so that they can get employment, which keeps them depressed for so long. She made the remarks recently during the Uganda Christian University UCU governance debate for universities organized by the Department of Public Administration and Governance on the theme Constitutionalization and Rule of the Law. The symposium was funded by the African Union under the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM. We head to Jinja now. The director, Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, Dr. Edward Nkurunziza, has admitted to negligence of their health workers in an incident where a child lost one of its limbs during birth. Nkurunziza, who described the incident as unfortunate, said the baby lost its hand as two intern doctors conducted a cesarean section on a 32-year-old mother. According to Nkurunziza, their supervisor was reportedly not in theatre. He said its mother, Betty Bidibawa of Buwenge Town Council in Jinja District, was admitted at the facility on the 9th of this month while she was bleeding severely. Nkurunziza explained that the mother of four was in what he termed as preterm of 32 weeks since she was not due for labor at the mandatory 40 weeks. It is alleged that health workers had mistaken the fetus to be dead and rushed to conduct the operation so as to save the mother's life. The interns are said to have made the first attempt to operate the mother but failed, and on the second round, they ended up chopping off the baby's right hand. We head to Gulu now, and the body of the late Bishop Benjamin Ojwang will be laid to rest at All Saints Cathedral Cemetery in Kitgum District on Wednesday. It was flown to his home in Pader District aboard a military helicopter on Monday from Kampala. The Anglican Bishop of the Diocese of Northern Uganda, Right Reverend Johnson Gakumba, received the body on ground. The late has been described as a very committed Christian. His wife and 6 children were among the mourners at Christ Church in Gulu, and the wife called for calm and forgiveness. Bishop Ojwang breathed his last Bishop Ojwang breathed his last the previous week at Chirudu General Hospital, where he had been admitted with high blood pressure and diabetes.
Bishop Benjamin Ojwang was a very committed Christian. I knew him before he even became a priest, because I met him when he was still a student at St. Paul's Theological College in Limuru in 1978.
From the north, we come back to the east and head to Buikwe, where the Monday morning showers left 2 children dead from Ndolwa village in Kokonjeru Town Council. The community was gripped in fear on hearing that 2 daughters of Oliver Nabwire and Fred Kalangwa were struck by lightning. John Mukalazi, the village chairman, identified the deceased as Lydia Bariama, 14, who had just completed her primary living examinations at Nkokonjeri Boys Primary School, and Easter Masane, 15, a senior 1 student at Vision Land Senior Secondary School in Nkokonjeri Town Council. Nabwire told the New Vision that the incident happened on Monday morning while she was in her garden with her 2 daughters. Nabwire adds that when she heard the sound of the lightning, the next thing was seeing her children carried into the air and let down as she ran to their rescue. Unfortunately, by the time she rushed them to the hospital, the doctor pronounced them dead. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll get to news around East Africa. Do stay with us. In around East Africa, we start with Burundi, where the country's main opposition leader, Agathon Rwasa, confirmed his party's bid for the next 2020 general elections and refuted speculation that he was going into exile amid government intimidation of opposition party members and supporters. Agathon Rwasa, the president of the National Freedom Council, also denounced schemes aimed at getting rid of his party ahead of the 2020 polls and called on its activists not to give up in the face of the difficult situation facing the party. In Kenya, Margaret Nyakango has been nominated by President Uhuru Kenyatta as the new controller of the budget. Nyakango will now be facing the Committee on Finance and National Planning before being approved by the president. Nyakango was among the 15 applicants who had applied to be the new controllers of the budget. She currently works at the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and has also worked as a finance director of the Africa International University. We head to South Sudan now, and urgent action is required to end abuse and exploitation of children in South Sudan, the United Nations Children's Agency UNICEF has said. The agency, in a new report it released on Monday, said children in the young nation are some of the most disadvantaged globally. The report was unveiled as part of UNICEF's commemoration of the 30th anniversary and looks at undeniable achievements of the past 3 decades globally. The report, entitled Child at a Crossroads, also notes that South Sudan has one of the highest child mortality rates in the entire world, with 1 in 10 children dying before 5 years due to preventable diseases and poor health care. We take a short break now and we return right about this. Welcome back from that short break. You're still watching New Vision TV News with me, Barbara Nyamwiza. Right about now, we go to Matters Business with Lynn Komjesha.
In business tonight, the Bank of Uganda has proposed stringent rules on how money from dormant accounts should be returned to the Consolidated Fund. The proposal is contained in the National Payment Systems Bill 2019 that was tabled before Parliament by David Bahati, the Minister of State for Planning. Paul Busharizi joins us to explain further what is contained in this bill.
It's part of regulations that would come out of payment settlements bill. The Bank of Uganda is trying to get through Parliament. I think the point is really that up to this point we have been dealing with it almost on without very solid laws underpinning how we deal with dormant accounts. As it is now, I think banks have to advertise. They regularly do. I think every year they have to advertise the dormant accounts that they have. Call on those people to come and either close their accounts. That
has been the norm.
It has been the norm.
Okay.
And then if no one comes forward to claim the money is sent to central bank. I think they're just trying to tighten that that provision of the law. But the law, I think, is maybe in my mind, its biggest provision is going to be how it deals with things like I think mobile money transactions.
I know, that should be
because which up to now are not really regulated. And there's been a call to find a framework under which we manage mobile money transactions.
All right. Now with this dormant money accounts, they say the money is going to be taken to the Consolidated Fund, and then what?
Used for the people, benefit of the people of Uganda. That's what it is. The Consolidated Fund is where all our taxes go, and what essentially the government's. That's where government draws money to do what it wants to do.
I understand, but supposing
we can't find you. That's what it means.
Supposing something goes wrong, are there any channels, right channels?
Like goes wrong, like what?
Somebody might come and claim this money.
That's why they give
from the bank to the Consolidated Fund. I mean,
yes. By the time they do that, by the time it gets the Consolidated Fund, it'll be like about a year or so after they've announced that the account is dormant. So they give I think they give reasonable means for people to respond. If you don't respond, and it happens, by the way, people die.
Yeah, true.
Their relatives don't know this account was there. Even leave alone access, they just didn't know that account was there. Or people, it happens.
Well.
And actually, interestingly, this law might also help on what about the dormant account in mobile money. Yes, exactly.
It's a very interesting
They might create regulations. So, for example, they might, who knows, create a regulation where mobile money companies, after maybe every once a year or every so often, have to list their dormant accounts.
Yes, and
since they know the names and everything.
But is this good?
It's absolutely good, yeah. I mean,
what was happening to the money before?
Exactly. I don't know what was happening to the money. If my account, I imagine my family would assume I have they know I have an account. So if something happened to me, maybe they would go and ask MTN, excuse me, this guy had money in his account. But if they don't know, then MTN doesn't contact anyone. Well, let me not say MTN, mobile money companies don't contact anyone. I think it was just going.
And the banks? Is it the same story with the banks?
No, the banks, they have to transfer the monies to the central bank after a certain period of time.
Money is money anyway, so a lot is going on. A lot goes on with money. But I think that's a good one, especially for mobile money, if they could also focus on that. And I think that's pretty good. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Lynn Komjisha. Now we get to a special report tonight. Only 1 in a million dreams becomes a reality. Uganda's dream to make its own vehicles and generally take full control of her transport sector has suddenly become a reality. And although the first modern vehicle to be wholly designed and built by Ugandans was publicly displayed in 2011 and President Museveni later rode in it at Makerere University, few people expected this country to be part and able to put the vehicles on the market before the end of this decade. The New Vision TV team traces the journey of the Chira electric vehicles in this report.
Just like the American project to take a man to the moon was launched in 1961 and accomplished by the end of the decade in 1969, Uganda's electric vehicle project that was unveiled in 2011 is putting its first vehicles on the market at the end of 2019. Uganda's first electric vehicles on the road are the Kayola EVs that carry 90 passengers each. So even as the country still has to fight with extreme poverty, simple killer diseases like malaria, poor sanitation that with its attendants, health problems and landslides that displace thousands of people in trains, a team of determined Ugandan engineers working with the national military have forced the country into the 21st century race to put electric vehicles on the road alongside world leaders in the field like China, United States and Sweden. It started as a practical academic project by students and lecturers at the College of Engineering, Art, Design and Technology (SEDAT) of Makerere University that unveiled their first all-electric proof of concept vehicle, the Kira EV car, at the beginning of the decade. Chaired by then Deputy Vice-Chancellor Professor Sande Tikodri and led by Engineer Paul Isaac Musasizi, the team followed up the first car with a hybrid called Kira Smack. President Museveni had now stepped in to support the project financially for the team to take their work beyond academic excellence to applied solutions in the market. Thus, from SEDAT, the team started operating under the Center for Research in the Transport Technologies, developing their answer to Uganda's public transport problems. Finally, the project was cleared to operate as a public company, the Kira Motors Corporation.
The materials we use to make this, once they begin to come from our own natural resources, after we have converted them into steel, into batteries and the kind of, that is when you will begin to have the impact of this thing we're doing now. To expect it in 1 year from now, I think is a bit being in a hurry. But otherwise the foundation is now there, and also the capability of our own young people who are building this will be in the hands. In other words, we are not training people who should also be able to do their own work, create their own jobs.
Although the government allocated 100 acres of land in Jinja district near the source of the Nile for constructing the plant where Uganda's vehicles are to be manufactured, Kira Motors still needed to hone its engineers' skills, and moreover, it couldn't start making the vehicles before the manufacturing plant was ready. Kira Motors then entered two strategic partnerships. The first was with CHTC Motors of China, where Kira Motors sent its engineers for finer scaling and practical experience, and where they fabricated the parts of Uganda's first two buses.
Here we are in one of our two buses, that have been built by my engineers in collaboration with the Luero Industries staff, and also some friends from China, where I had sent the 6 of them on a training. So the output of that training is basically this bus that we are in now.
The Kayola bus parts were to be shipped to Uganda for final assembly, but the Kira plant at Jinja being far from ready, a second partner had to be found where the first ones could be built. Somewhere in the center of Uganda on the shores of Lake Chuga, cut off from the public because of its sensitivity, is the biggest military base of the Republic at Nakasongola. There are several military institutions in Nakasongola, including Luero Industries, which runs several units including a munitions factory. But it was the mechanical workshop that caught the Kira Motors' attention. After the necessary clearances, a partnership was designed between the Luero Industries, the manufacturing arm of Uganda People's Defense Forces, and the Kira Motors Corporation.
The UPDF Engineers Brigade working through NEC will make sure that we deliver this project. My request, however, is that I heard the professor saying that we should make sure we finish in time. For us, we don't have any problem. The only problem I had is that it's phased over 3 financial years, which means we may finish in the second financial year, maybe in the first quarter, and have to wait until another financial year begins. So if it can be possible, if you can use your influence, even in cabinet, to make sure that at least they give a supplementary front loading, so that when we begin work, we do it and finish it and then conclude the chapter and commission it.
Luero Industries Workshop was found to have the best capability to assemble the parts that are made by CHTC China into real vehicles ready for the road. And so what looked like a dream yesterday has become the reality of today and the hope of the future. Uganda has proven its capability to make motor vehicles required for road transport needs.
This bus will be programmed such that at a particular time it is at a certain station. If you have not filled it, it will go empty, or passengers, it won't matter.
New Vision TV shall be bringing you details of Kira Motors Road to place Uganda in the race for producing next generation vehicles in our subsequent episodes. I am Rethina Seja reporting for New Vision TV.
Well, that's been our special report tonight, and with that we come to the end of our newscast tonight. Do follow our bulletin always online on our website, which is www.newvision.co.ug. We always are live as well on YouTube and on Facebook at The New Vision. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. I'll leave you with tonight's fact file. Have a blessed night.